What explosive showdowns await in Genoa City on The Young and the Restless? As the sun dips below the skyline of Genoa City, secrets simmer and tensions hit new highs. With the upcoming The Young and the Restless spoilers for November 14, 2024, viewers are in for a week of unexpected alliances, family feuds, and life-changing decisions. Let's dive into the chaos brewing among the show's most compelling characters, from Tessa's protective instincts to Billy's quest for respect. A mother's desperate stand, Tessa and Maria's disagreements have finally come to a breaking point. With their daughter Lily at the center of a heated debate, Tessa is ready to make a drastic move, leaving Genoa City for good. Feeling that Lily's future is threatened by the constant turmoil, Tessa's decision doesn't come lightly. But the real friction lies in her distrust of Sharon, a woman she believes could bring harm to her family. Does Sharon's past contain secrets dark enough to drive Tessa to flee? Sharon's shady influence, known for her strategic manipulation and emotional turmoil. Sharon's presence has always cast a shadow over Tessa and Maria's lives. Tessa's fears about Sharon's unstable behavior raise the stakes, as she vows to shield Lily from any potential harm. Could Tessa's plans to confront Sharon create a scandalous fallout? As their paths cross in new heated ways, fans are left wondering, will Tessa's determination to protect Lily finally ignite a full-blown family war? Billy's quest for power. Meanwhile, Billy Abbott's personal and professional frustrations reach a new level. Feeling dismissed and disrespected by his own mother, Jill, Billy seeks support from his brother Jack at Jabot Cosmetics. This partnership is more than a simple career move. It's a calculated strategy to claim the power he believes he deserves. But as Billy and Jack work to bring down their mutual adversary, Victor Newman, will they find themselves in over their heads? Victor Newman's calculated response. Victor is never one to let his guard down, and Billy's latest move has him watching closely. By potentially bringing Billy into his fold, Victor hopes to control and monitor Billy's actions within Jabot. But can Billy outmaneuver Victor, or will he be forced to bend under Victor's unyielding influence? Abby and Ashley's heartfelt farewell. As Abby prepares for her wedding, she shares a touching moment with her sister, Ashley, who faces her own battle with a serious health condition. Preparing to return to Paris for treatment, Ashley's strength offers Abby much-needed encouragement as she steps into her new life with Deavon. Will this be a lasting moment of peace amidst the chaos of Genoa City, or is heartbreak around the corner? The drama unfolds. With Tessa ready to risk it all for her daughter, Billy's thirst for respect fueling bold moves, and the ever-looming presence of Victor, Genoa City's residents are all walking a thin line between loyalty and betrayal. These explosive dynamics will leave viewers wondering who will come out on top, and which relationships will be shattered in the wake of these intense battles. Prepare for an unforgettable week in Genoa City, as these powerful stories weave together into a tapestry of ambition, loyalty, and explosive confrontations. The Young and the Restless is about to leave fans on the edge of their seats. Don't miss a moment. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Jill's bold gambit, the struggle for control in Genoa City. In Genoa City, Jill Abbott has long been a powerful figure, balancing ambition with loyalty to her family. However, Chancellor Abbott Enterprises, once a thriving force, has recently struggled to remain relevant. Jill, frustrated with the company's decline, is ready to make a bold decision that will impact everyone around her, from her son Billy to her longtime rival, Deavon Hamilton, and even Victor Newman. Jill has watched as Chancellor Abbott, a company that once symbolized power, now clings to its name more than any actual business success. Its diminishing relevance weighs heavily on Jill, who is eager to move on and release herself from the burden of running a failing brand. But selling Chancellor Abbott isn't just a financial move, it's emotional, especially with Billy's career at stake. The company is the last significant role Billy holds in the business world. Without it, he risks losing direction in a career filled with upheaval. Despite this, Jill is determined to make her move and has a larger plan in mind that could benefit both the family and her business interests. Victor Newman's growing interest in Chancellor Abbott has become the talk of the town. The seasoned mogul sees potential in the company, particularly if he can place his wife, Nikki, as CEO. For Victor, this deal serves two purposes: acquiring a once great company and strengthening the Newman family's control in the business world. Jill, looking to divest, agrees that selling to Victor could help her escape from the failing brand. However, for her, the deal has to secure her family's future, especially Billy's. Jill knows Billy will be resistant to the idea of losing Chancellor Abbott. To keep his career intact, Jill has devised a plan that involves reclaiming a portion of Chancellor Winters, a company currently under Deavon's control. Jill and Deavon have a long-standing feud, and her strategy to take back Chancellor Winters is part of her broader business maneuver. Once she regains control of the company, she can arrange a partial sale to Victor, solidifying her position. But there's a catch. Jill needs Billy's approval. She must convince him to accept her plan without causing a public stir or getting in the way of her larger strategy. What makes Jill unique in Genoa City's business world is her ability to combine shrewd decision-making with deep loyalty to her family. Selling Chancellor Abbott isn't just about cutting losses. It's about protecting the Abbott legacy while also securing her future. By selling to Victor, she can make a hefty profit, which she plans to reinvest into other ventures. Additionally, she hopes this deal will allow her to take over as CEO of Chancellor Winters, offering new opportunities and challenges. However, reclaiming Chancellor Winters will not be without conflict. Jill knows her rivalry with Deavon will flare up, especially since he's built the company into something personal, a legacy he's not willing to lose easily. Deavon will fight to maintain his control, and Jill's attempt to take the company back will be seen as an attack. This isn't just a business rivalry, it's a battle of pride and ambition, with each side bringing everything they have to the table. As Jill and Deavon prepare for a showdown, the stakes are high. This fight is not just about business, it's personal. Jill's ability to outmaneuver Deavon and secure Billy's agreement will determine whether she emerges victorious. As she succeeds, she could reshape the future of the Abbott family and her own business legacy. But Genoa City is unpredictable, and the complex web of rivalries and alliances could throw a wrench into Jill's plans. Only time will tell if Jill's bold gambit will pay off or if unforeseen challenges will derail her ambitions. As she steps into this new phase of her life, the question remains: will she succeed in reshaping her future, or will the weight of family dynamics prove too much to overcome? The Reckoning, Phyllis and Sharon's desperate struggle for truth and survival. In The Young and the Restless, tensions between Sharon and Phyllis have been simmering for years, but the stakes have never been higher. With Heather's murder still unsolved, Sharon finds herself a prime suspect, and Phyllis's son Daniel is on the brink of a prison sentence, his time on bail running out. Phyllis is determined to clear Daniel's name and believes Sharon holds the key to finding Heather's real killer. Phyllis, consumed with anger and fear for her son, confronts Sharon in a desperate bid for answers. Their heated argument escalates, and just as their rage reaches a breaking point, a nearby accident sparks an explosion. Chance arrives just in time to save both women from the fire, and for a moment, it seems the close call might lead them to reconsider their battle. However, Phyllis's desperation only intensifies. Later that evening, as Sharon heads home, Phyllis approaches her from behind, striking her and knocking her unconscious. When Sharon wakes up, she's tied to a chair in a dimly lit room. The realization dawns: Phyllis has taken her hostage. Intent on extracting a confession, Phyllis demands that Sharon admit her involvement in Heather's death, her voice echoing through the cold, damp room. Sharon, however, remains steadfast, refusing to give in to Phyllis's demands. As the hours pass, Phyllis's resolve begins to waver. Sharon's silence only strengthens her doubts, and she starts to wonder if she's pushed too far, risking not only Daniel's future but her own. Faced with Sharon's resilience, Phyllis questions the lengths she's willing to go for justice, her grip on control slipping with each passing moment. Meanwhile, Sharon assesses her surroundings, keeping calm and waiting for the right moment to turn the tables. Though she's bound, she knows that patience and strategy are her best weapons in this game of endurance. As dawn breaks, casting light on their tense standoff, both women are left to confront the toll of their actions. Phyllis realizes she's reached a crossroad. She can continue down a dark path that may consume them both, or she can take a step back and find a different way. The line between justice and revenge has blurred, and each woman is left scared, wondering if either of them will ever truly find peace. In an unexpected twist, Sharon Newman crosses a terrifying line in her long-standing feud with Phyllis Summers. What started as a seemingly endless series of battles has now spiraled into something far darker. Sharon is determined to end the war, once and for all, but not without consequences. For months, Sharon had been quietly enduring Phyllis's relentless attempts to destroy her. Phyllis, who had made it her mission to see Sharon behind bars, was a constant threat, pushing Sharon to the brink. Sharon had long played the victim, always on the defensive, but the time for patience had worn thin. Sharon was now ready to fight back, and she would do so in a way no one could have imagined. Sharon had observed Phyllis's every move, scrutinizing her patterns and habits, particularly her reckless driving. Sharon knew Phyllis's penchant for speeding and saw it as her vulnerability. It was the perfect opportunity to strike, and Sharon's mind began to devise a plan steeped in darkness and revenge. One evening, Sharon acted swiftly. She slashed the tires of Phyllis's car, not enough to make them fail immediately, but enough to cause a gradual loss of air. Sharon knew that it would take some time, but she was patient. The trap was set. The following morning, Phyllis, unaware of the peril lurking beneath her tires, climbed into her car, ready to go about her day. As she sped down the road, Sharon followed from a safe distance, watching intently. The tires, now losing air, began to cause the car to wobble. Phyllis noticed the strange vibrations, and moments later, the tires blew out violently, sending the car into an uncontrollable swerve. The vehicle careened off the road, slamming into the rocky mountainside with a deafening crash. Metal screamed against asphalt as the car exploded into flames, thick smoke rising into the sky. Sharon, watching from a distance, felt a dark satisfaction surge through her. The trap had worked perfectly, and Phyllis, her adversary, was now paying the price. Bystanders quickly gathered at the scene, horrified by the fiery wreckage. Emergency services rushed to the scene, their chances of saving Phyllis slim as the flames continued to rage. Inside the car, Phyllis was trapped, her life hanging by a thread as the fire consumed the vehicle. As the rescue teams desperately worked to free Phyllis, it became clear that Sharon's vendetta had escalated into something far more sinister. What once seemed like a bitter rivalry had become a fight for survival, and the entire town of Genoa City was about to feel the repercussions. Sharon's ruthless actions were no longer just a personal matter. They were a terrifying statement to anyone who dared cross her. In the wake of the accident, Sharon's reputation shifted dramatically. Her once calculating and reserved demeanor now seemed ominous to those around her. Phyllis's accident was no longer just a tragic mishap. It was a grim reminder of the lengths Sharon would go to protect herself and exact revenge. The whispers around town grew louder, filled with fear and suspicion. Sharon had crossed a line, and everyone could sense it. With Phyllis's life hanging in the balance, the residents of Genoa City realized the depth of Sharon's wrath. What had begun as a feud had turned into a chilling warning. Sharon was a foe unlike any other. Her victory, though complete, came at a great cost. The act of vengeance had severed any remaining ties to mercy or humanity. In her pursuit of revenge, Sharon had unleashed a terror that would echo through Genoa City for years to come, forever altering the dynamics of her relationships and the town itself. The day began like a fairy tale, as Deavon and Abby gathered with family and friends to celebrate their love in a beautifully restored farmhouse, a venue that seemed to encapsulate everything they had dreamed of. As guests raised glasses and shared laughter, the atmosphere was filled with love, warmth, and the promise of a future together. Their son, Dominic, symbolized the bond Deavon and Abby had cultivated, and the couple's heartfelt vows reflected their commitment to a life intertwined with joy and support. However, just as the couple exchanged promises, a surprising twist shattered the harmony. The celebration took a sudden turn when the doors opened to reveal Alina carrying a young child in her arms. The crowd fell into a stunned silence as she made her way forward, her eyes locking with Deavon's, filled with resolve and intensity. Abby's joyful expression faded as she absorbed the weight of Alina's words. "Deavon, this is your son. It's time you acknowledge him." A wave of shock rippled through the room. Whispers of disbelief spread among the guests as they processed Alina's dramatic arrival and her shocking announcement. Speculation about the child's paternity had circulated, but no one had expected such a public revelation, especially on Deavon and Abby's wedding day. The child, with eyes and facial features resembling Deavon, left little room for doubt. Unmoved by the tense atmosphere, Alina boldly proclaimed that the child was not Nate's, challenging Deavon to take responsibility for his son. She even suggested a DNA test, her confidence amplifying the awkward tension that now enveloped the ceremony. Deavon was visibly shaken, while Abby's face reflected a mixture of betrayal, pain, and disbelief, emotions that now tainted what should have been their most joyous day. The unexpected revelation left Abby grappling with the reality that her family might never be the same. With Dominic, she and Deavon had constructed a life grounded in mutual love and respect. But now, the arrival of Alina and her child raised questions that could potentially disrupt their family dynamic and test the foundation they had carefully built. Alina's motivations seemed layered with bitterness, and her demand for recognition of Deavon's responsibility carried an undertone of resentment. Her decision to confront Deavon at his wedding felt like a calculated attempt not only to unveil the truth, but also to disrupt his newfound happiness with Abby. Among the guests, opinions divided. Some viewed Alina's approach as justifiable, while others saw it as an unforgivable act that crossed the line between seeking justice and exacting revenge. As Deavon looked at the child, a mix of confusion and an undeniable connection flickered in his eyes. He struggled to process the emotional turmoil, wondering what this revelation would mean for his future with Abby. The uncertainty surrounding the child's paternity left Deavon at a crossroads, as he now faced a possible reshaping of his life narrative with Abby, Dominic, and this newfound responsibility. Nate, a silent observer amid the guests, felt the weight of the situation too. Despite having moved past his relationship with Alina, the chance that he might be the child's father lingered uncomfortably in his mind. The celebration had morphed into an emotionally charged event, with Nate and Deavon both aware that the only way forward was to settle this with a DNA test. For Abby, this was a nightmare. The life she envisioned with Deavon, their son Dominic, and the stable future they had promised each other now seemed fragile. She felt betrayed and exposed, standing at the intersection of Deavon's unresolved past and her hope for a harmonious future. Though she clung to the love they shared, doubt gnawed at her confidence in the man she thought she knew. With the DNA test looming, the certainty of a long-awaited answer held the potential to either bind or break Deavon and Abby's future. The test results would either confirm Alina's claim, prompting Deavon to confront a hidden chapter of his past or exonerate him, allowing him to move forward unburdened. But regardless of the outcome, the course of their lives had already been altered. As the guests departed, the joyous occasion had transformed into a tense silence, a stark reminder of the power the past holds, even over life's most carefully planned celebrations. In the wake of this unforeseen interruption, Deavon and Abby held on to each other, silently resolving to confront whatever truths the future held, no matter how painful or complex. Big news for fans of The Young and the Restless, Y&R. Trevor Street John is officially returning to the hit soap opera, sending waves of excitement throughout the fan base. The actor, who has captivated audiences with his talent and undeniable presence, is set to make a grand return to Genoa City. Here's everything we know about his highly anticipated comeback. Who is Trevor Street John? Trevor Street John is known for his remarkable acting skills and his long tenure in the soap opera world. He gained widespread recognition for his portrayal of Todd Manning on One Life to Live, a role that earned him critical acclaim and a dedicated following. His ability to bring intense emotions to the screen, especially in the dramatic twists and turns of soap operas, made him a fan favorite. Street John's charm and versatility made him a standout in the industry. The big announcement, Trevor Street John returns to Y&R. In a thrilling development, Trevor Street John is returning to The Young and the Restless. Fans have been buzzing ever since news of his return broke, and many are wondering how the actor will be integrated into the current storyline. While there have been few official details released about his specific character, it's clear that his arrival will shake things up in Genoa City. What does this mean for Y&R fans? Trevor's return to Y&R promises a fresh dynamic for the show. His rich acting experience will undoubtedly add depth to the ongoing storylines, creating new opportunities for drama, intrigue, and, of course, suspense. Given his history of playing characters with complex personalities and moral dilemmas, Street John's return is bound to add some fire to an already captivating soap opera. For fans who have followed his career, this is a moment of triumph and celebration. Many fans are speculating about which character he will play and how he will interact with the established cast. Will he be a new villain, a hero, or someone in between? Only time will tell. What's next for Y&R? With Trevor Street John joining the cast, Y&R continues to prove that it remains a dominant force in the world of daytime television. His addition is just the latest in a series of exciting changes that have reinvigorated the show and delighted longtime fans. As we await more details, one thing is certain: The Young and the Restless is gearing up for an unforgettable season ahead. Stay tuned for more updates on Trevor Street John's role and what his return means for the future of The Young and the Restless. In a dramatic twist that has left The Young and the Restless fans on the edge of their seats, what was supposed to be a joyous celebration has turned into a heartbreaking disaster. As Abby Newman's wedding day unfolds with elegance and charm, the family gathers in high spirits to celebrate love, unity, and happiness. But amid the joy, an unexpected and chilling event takes place. Sharon collapses suddenly, sending shockwaves through the ceremony. Sharon's collapse happens without warning, instantly halting the festivities and throwing everyone into a state of confusion and fear. Guests rush to her side, but despite their best efforts, Sharon remains unresponsive. The joyous atmosphere is shattered as the family's attention shifts from the celebration to deep concern for Sharon's health and well-being. Emotions run high as loved ones rally around her, desperate for answers. Dr. Lawrence's devastating diagnosis. The mystery intensifies when Dr. Lawrence steps forward with a grave expression, delivering a diagnosis that sends ripples of shock and despair through the crowd. Known for her resilience, Sharon's sudden collapse has the entire family fearing the worst. Dr. Lawrence's revelation is more severe than anyone anticipated, potentially signaling a major health crisis that could change Sharon's life forever. Family torn between joy and heartbreak. As family members try to grapple with the devastating news, they find themselves torn between the desire to celebrate Abby's special day and their concern for Sharon's well-being. The emotional turmoil leaves everyone in a state of raw vulnerability, showing just how close-knit and fragile the Newman family truly is. Fans are left wondering what this diagnosis will mean for Sharon. Is this a temporary setback, or could it indicate a much larger, life-altering condition? While details about the diagnosis remain under wraps, it's clear that Sharon's journey will take a new, challenging path. The heartbreak and tension surrounding her condition are likely to impact every member of the Newman family, bringing them closer while also testing their emotional endurance. As the wedding celebration turns into a tragedy, the young and the restless fans are bracing themselves for what promises to be one of the most impactful and emotional storylines of the season. With the Newman family now at a crossroads, viewers are left eagerly awaiting the next episode, where secrets could be revealed, and the future of one of Genoa City's most beloved characters will be uncertain. In a jaw-dropping twist that has fans on the edge of their seats, Sheila Carter is back in Genoa City, and this time, she's not just stirring up trouble, she's out for revenge. The iconic and dangerous character's return is about to turn the lives of the residents upside down, and it all begins with the shocking kidnapping of Sharon Newman. Sheila's vicious plan unfolds. After years of being out of the spotlight, Sheila's reappearance is nothing short of dramatic. The infamous villain has been lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to make her move. As she arrives in Genoa City, whispers of her return send waves of fear through the tight-knit community. But it's clear that Sheila isn't here to reconcile, she's here to settle old scores. While the exact reason for Sheila's vendetta against Sharon remains unclear, the tension between the two has been building for some time. Sharon, who has already faced her share of trauma over the years, is about to become the target of Sheila's twisted plan. With her signature ruthlessness, Sheila kidnaps Sharon, taking her hostage in a shocking turn of events. The kidnapping, a nightmare, unfolds. Sharon's abduction sends shockwaves through Genoa City. Her loved ones, including her husband Dylan and daughter Faith, are thrown into a panic as they scramble to piece together Sheila's motives and figure out where she's hidden Sharon. The clock is ticking, and the stakes have never been higher. As the search for Sharon intensifies, questions arise. How will Sharon survive this horrifying ordeal? And just how far is Sheila willing to go to get what she wants? The tension in Genoa City has reached a boiling point, and with Sheila in control of Sharon's fate, anything is possible. Will Genoa City be able to stop Sheila? Sheila has always been known for her ability to manipulate, scheme, and cause chaos. Now that she's back, no one is safe, and Genoa City is bracing itself for the fallout. As the clock ticks on Sharon's captivity, it's unclear who will step up to save her, or what lengths they'll have to go to in order to bring Sheila to justice. Fans are already buzzing with theories on how this story will unfold. Will the law catch up to Sheila before she wreaks more havoc? Or will she escape once again, leaving a trail of destruction in her wake? One thing is certain, the young and the restless is about to enter a dark new chapter, and Sheila's reign of terror is far from over. Stay tuned for more shocking developments as this gripping storyline continues to unfold. Don't miss the action. Tune in every weekday to The Young and the Restless on CBS to see how this explosive storyline plays out. Billy felt his blood boil as he paced the room, Jill's words replaying in his mind. She had dismissed him as CEO, adding insult to injury by offering him a COO position, as if that would pacify him. To anyone else, it might seem a reasonable compromise, but to Billy, it was a humiliating demotion. He didn't want to be second in command. He wanted respect, autonomy, and a chance to prove himself beyond Jill's influence. Still raw from the sting of his demotion, Billy's gut twisted when he noticed something troubling. Through the glass-walled corridor, he saw Jill and Victor Newman in his mother's office, speaking in hushed, serious tones. He couldn't hear the words, but their expressions were unmistakably steely and conspiratorial. What could Jill possibly be discussing with Victor, Billy's longtime nemesis? Could they be plotting against him? Suspicion took root. He knew all too well Victor's ruthless tactics, his endless pursuit of power. Billy feared that Victor might be manipulating Jill to keep her own son in line, stripping him of whatever dignity he had left. Yet, unbeknownst to Billy, Jill's true intentions were to help him grow as a leader. She hoped that the COO role would teach him patience, strategy, and the experience he needed to take on greater responsibilities. She worried his impulsiveness and temper might lead him down a destructive path, one she desperately wanted him to avoid. But Billy didn't see it that way. In his mind, Jill's actions were a betrayal. Unable to contain his anger, he marched straight into her office, voice echoing through the room as he demanded, "What are you and Victor plotting? What scheme do you have up your sleeves?" Jill's face registered a mix of hurt and frustration, but she remained silent, knowing that no explanation would reach him in his current state. She replied softly but resolutely, "Billy, everything I've done has been to help you. One day you'll understand." Billy scoffed bitterly, his disbelief apparent. "Help me? By stripping me of my position? By scheming behind my back with Victor? You're trying to ruin me." His voice was loud, fueled by betrayal and hurt. The room fell into a heavy silence as Jill held his gaze, her own resolve unbroken but laced with regret. She had hoped Billy would see this as an opportunity, not an insult, but that hope had vanished. Determined to prove himself without his mother's help, Billy made a drastic choice. He would quit. He would leave behind everything and build his own legacy on his terms, without Jill's guidance or Victor's influence. But as he walked away, the weight of his decision began to sink in. It wasn't just his career he was leaving behind, but also his already strained relationship with Jill. Meanwhile, Jill was left grappling with her own emotions. She had only wanted to see her son succeed, to help him become the leader she knew he could be. But her efforts had backfired, and now Billy was gone, their relationship strained to the breaking point. The pain of watching him walk away weighed heavily on her, but she remained resolute in her decision. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Sharon's lethal revenge, a battle on the edge of catastrophe. Sharon's life had spiraled into a relentless series of battles, facing enemies both within and beyond her control. But one thorn had lodged deep under her skin for far too long: Phyllis. Phyllis had pursued Sharon with unyielding determination, trying to put her behind bars in a vendetta so deep-rooted it seemed inescapable. This grudge finally drove Sharon to take an unimaginable step, plunging into a dark, vengeful strategy. For months, Sharon endured Phyllis's silent persecution, watching her every move with growing frustration. Tired of being on the defensive, Sharon decided to end their dangerous cat-and-mouse game once and for all. She knew Phyllis's habits, her strengths, and her weaknesses, especially her recklessly fast driving. Sharon crafted a plan, hoping to make Phyllis her unwitting prey. Over the following weeks, Sharon monitored Phyllis's driving routes, studying her vulnerabilities. She waited patiently for the perfect moment to strike, ensuring her actions left no trace. Finally, one evening, Sharon slashed the tires on Phyllis's car just enough to cause a slow leak, setting the stage for a catastrophic failure. The next morning, Phyllis, unaware of the trap, climbed into her car, revved the engine, and sped off. Sharon followed at a safe distance, watching as Phyllis's tires gradually lost air. As Phyllis accelerated onto the highway, the tire's pressure dropped rapidly, causing the car to wobble. Moments later, the tires blew with a violent pop. Phyllis's car jerked wildly, swerving uncontrollably as the shredded tires failed beneath her. Phyllis fought desperately for control, but the car skidded, veering off the road and crashing into the mountainside. The impact crumpled the vehicle, shattering the windshield and triggering an explosive blaze. From a distance, Sharon watched with a twisted sense of satisfaction as flames engulfed the car. Bystanders quickly gathered, horrified by the accident. Some called 911, while others stood frozen in shock as emergency responders rushed to the scene. As Phyllis lay trapped, barely clinging to life, a new fear began to spread among those who knew both women. Whispers of terror filled the air, for it was clear this was no ordinary rivalry. Sharon had crossed a line into vengeance. News of the accident rippled through Genoa City, leaving residents with a chill. Sharon's once friendly face became an ominous symbol, a reminder of the lengths she would go to protect herself. With Phyllis's life hanging by a thread, Genoa City residents found themselves reconsidering their own past grievances with Sharon. In the end, Sharon's victory felt bittersweet, for she realized her actions had stripped her of mercy and humanity. She had crossed a line from which she could never return, casting a shadow over Genoa City that would linger for years to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal an unexpected twist at Abby and Deavon's wedding. Set against the charm of a beautifully restored farmhouse, the event was a dream come true. Family and friends filled the air with laughter, toasts, and heartfelt embraces, celebrating the couple's journey. As Abby and Deavon exchanged vows, their love and commitment shone brightly, and it seemed that nothing could spoil the joyous occasion. But in a sudden turn, the doors opened, and Elena entered, holding a small child. The crowd fell silent as she walked directly toward Deavon, locking eyes with him. Abby's smile faded as Elena, her voice steady and cold, announced, "Deavon, this is your son. It's time you take responsibility." Shocked gasps rippled through the guests as they took in the child's striking resemblance to Deavon. For years, there had been whispers about Elena's child, but no one expected this revelation to emerge at the wedding. Elena's presence held a mixture of bitterness and vengeance. It wasn't only about seeking responsibility, it was about disrupting the happiness Deavon had built with Abby. She declared that the child was not Nate's, offering a DNA test on the spot. Deavon stood speechless, glancing at Abby, whose face displayed confusion, hurt, and anger. Their love story, once resilient, now faced a threat from Deavon's past. Abby's heart pounded as she realized the impact of this moment, not only on their relationship, but on their life with Dominic, the son they loved and cherished. Elena's actions stirred a storm of emotions in Deavon. While he felt an unspoken connection to the child, he wrestled with the thought of the life he had crafted with Abby. Nate, standing nearby, felt a sense of dread as Elena's accusation implicated him too. He met Deavon's gaze, knowing that a DNA test would be the only way to resolve the uncertainty hanging over them all. For Abby, this scene felt like a nightmare. The family she had built with Deavon now felt fragile, as though it could shatter under the weight of Elena's claim. Clinging to hope, Abby wondered if the love they shared could withstand the storm. The approaching DNA test carried the final question. Would it confirm Deavon's responsibility, forcing him to face a hidden past, or would it allow them to continue their life together, unburdened? As the guests slowly departed, the festive celebration turned into a tense waiting game, casting a solemn reminder that the past often reemerges in the least expected moments. In the silence that followed, Abby and Deavon held each other close, determined to face the future together, whatever it might bring. Did Sharon cause Heather's death? Unfolding mysteries in Genoa City. Victor and Nikki Newman are enjoying a romantic moment at their newly rebuilt ranch, where Nikki plays the piano and feels the magic of music in the fresh surroundings. This is a significant beginning as they plan to host a family wedding. Meanwhile, at the Abbott mansion, Abby, Ashley, and Jack gather, discussing their future with the support of close friends. However, the peace doesn't last long. At Crimson Lights, Phyllis confronts Sharon, demanding she admit her guilt. Phyllis accuses Sharon of involvement in Heather's death and even claims to have proof. Although Sharon denies it, Phyllis remains determined, threatening to expose the truth. At the club, Daniel and Christine are also tormented as they remember Heather's death and its impact on Lucy. During breakfast, Christine admits that Sharon's strange behavior at Heather's funeral raised suspicions. This causes Daniel to ponder whether Sharon might actually be connected to Heather's death, especially since Phyllis and Christine, usually at odds, are in agreement on the matter. Is Sharon really involved in Heather's death, or is Phyllis simply on a wild crusade? These questions may soon be answered as the police begin their investigation and the truth unfolds. In a jaw-dropping turn of events on The Young and the Restless, fans were left gasping as Victor Newman, the powerful patriarch of the Newman family, collapsed from a heart attack after discovering he had fallen into a sinister trap laid by none other than Diane Jenkins and Jack Abbott. The shocking twist has left Genoa City in turmoil, with Victor's health in jeopardy and the complex web of deceit threatening to shatter the lives of those involved. The trap unfolds, Diane and Jack's devious plan. The tension between Victor, Diane, and Jack has been building for months, with Victor's mistrust of Diane and his ongoing feud with Jack intensifying at every turn. For weeks, fans have speculated about Diane's hidden motives, but no one could have predicted the scale of the trap she and Jack were orchestrating together. It all began when Diane and Jack, both motivated by their own personal vendettas against Victor, began secretly working together to bring him down. Using their combined knowledge of Victor's business dealings, weaknesses, and personal history, they set the perfect trap to undermine him in both his professional and personal life. The culmination of their plan came when they manipulated Victor into making a series of high-stakes decisions that were designed to backfire spectacularly. Victor, always confident in his ability to control any situation, never saw it coming. But as the plot unfolded and the consequences of his decisions became clear, the weight of betrayal and the realization that he had been outsmarted was too much for him to bear. Victor's collapse, a family in crisis. The moment of truth came when Victor, still reeling from the discovery that Diane and Jack had been manipulating him behind his back, was struck by a sudden and severe heart attack. The scene was nothing short of dramatic. Victor, having just learned the full extent of the betrayal, staggered before collapsing to the floor in front of his family and associates. Victor, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, screamed in horror as she rushed to her husband's side. The Newman family was plunged into chaos as medical personnel were called to the scene, and Victor was rushed to the hospital. While fans are holding their breath, wondering about Victor's fate, the immediate aftermath of the attack has already left a mark on everyone. Nikki, who has stood by Victor through thick and thin, is now faced with the possibility that her husband may not recover from this shock. His health has been a major concern for some time, but this unexpected attack has taken the family and viewers completely off guard. Diane and Jack's shocking revelation. As if the heart-stopping medical emergency wasn't enough, the true extent of Diane and Jack's plan has now been revealed, and it's more devious than anyone could have imagined. Through careful manipulation of business dealings and personal relationships, Diane and Jack succeeded in turning the tables on Victor, playing him like a pawn in their game of revenge. In a tense confrontation with Jack and Diane, Victor, still struggling with the effects of his heart attack, learned the depth of their betrayal. Diane, who had spent years hiding in the shadows, revealed her hand with a wicked smile, while Jack remained calm, yet visibly satisfied with the success of their plan. "You never saw it coming, did you, Victor?" Diane sneered. "You thought you could control everything, but you were just a step in our game, a game you lost." Jack, ever the strategist, stood by Diane, his face hardening as he watched Victor's reaction. "It's over, Victor. Jack said coldly. "You've been outsmarted. Your empire is crumbling, and there's nothing you can do about it." For Victor, the moment was a brutal reminder that even he isn't invincible. For the first time, he seemed genuinely vulnerable, not only physically due to his health, but emotionally as well. The realization that two of his biggest adversaries had been working together to bring him down was a crushing blow. What does this mean for the Newman family? The fallout from this shocking turn of events will undoubtedly have far-reaching consequences for the Newman family. With Victor's health in serious jeopardy, the future of Newman Enterprises is uncertain. Nikki, who has always been Victor's rock, now faces the possibility of losing him not only to the physical toll of the heart attack, but also to the unraveling of everything he has worked for. Moreover, Victor's children, Victoria, Nicholas, and Adam, will have to step up as the family business is thrown into disarray. But with Jack and Diane now positioned as key players in the battle for control, Victor's children may be left questioning their own loyalty to their father. As the drama unfolds, fans can expect a power struggle like never before, with Jack and Diane at the center of a growing storm. Their actions have set off a series of events that will challenge old alliances, force new ones to form, and potentially tear apart the Newman family from the inside out. What's next for Diane, Jack, and Victor? As The Young and the Restless continues to unfold this heart-pounding saga, the stakes have never been higher. With Victor's life hanging in the balance, the power dynamics in Genoa City are about to shift in unexpected ways. Will Victor recover from his heart attack and retaliate against Diane and Jack's betrayal? Or is this the beginning of the end for the mighty Newman patriarch? And how will Nicky, his children, and the rest of the Newman family cope with the fallout from the trap set by Jack and Diane? As always, in the world of Y and R, nothing is ever as it seems, and fans can expect more shocking twists, betrayals, and power plays in the coming episodes. What do you think of Diane and Jack's shocking plan? Can Victor recover from this betrayal and his heart attack? Or is this the end of an era for the Newmans? Stay tuned as the drama continues to unfold. In a jaw-dropping turn of events on The Young and the Restless, fans were left on the edge of their seats as Paul Williams took extreme measures in his quest for justice. Desperate to avenge the pain caused to his beloved ex-wife Heather Stevens, Vale Bloom, Paul found himself breaking into Sharon Newman's home in a bold, risky move that could have serious consequences for everyone involved. Paul's desperation reaches a boiling point. For weeks now, the storyline has been building to a crescendo, with Heather facing mounting danger from her mysterious and powerful enemies. Her recent disappearance and the uncertainty surrounding her fate have caused Paul no end of grief and frustration. Having been haunted by his failure to protect her, Paul becomes obsessed with finding the truth and the person responsible for Heather's suffering. When Sharon, a close friend and confidant of both Paul and Heather, seemed to have information that could potentially crack the case wide open, Paul couldn't wait any longer. Fueled by a mix of anger, heartbreak, and determination, he decided to take matters into his own hands. Breaking in, a desperate move with huge risks. In tonight's episode, Paul, whose reputation as a law enforcement officer is built on following the rules, went rogue. He secretly entered Sharon's house, hoping to find crucial evidence or clues that would lead him to the person behind Heather's torment. But what Paul didn't anticipate was the emotional and legal fallout that would follow this dangerous decision. As Paul rummaged through Sharon's personal belongings, he was unaware that Sharon herself was just moments away from returning home. With the clock ticking, tensions mounted. Would Paul be caught in the act, or would he uncover something that could change everything? Sharon's reaction: shock, betrayal, and heartache. When Sharon finally walked through the door, she was stunned to find Paul in her living room, rifling through her things. Her shock quickly turned to anger as she demanded to know why he'd violated her privacy in such an extreme way. But more than that, Sharon's heart ached at the realization that Paul's desperate need for vengeance had led him to make such a reckless decision. "I can't believe you'd do this, Paul," Sharon said, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and sadness. "You're supposed to be a cop. You should know better." Paul's guilt was evident, but he was also unwavering in his resolve. "I'm doing this for Heather. She's been hurt, Sharon, and I won't sit idly by and let whoever did this get away with it." The fallout. What's next for Paul, Sharon, and Heather? While Paul's actions may have been driven by a deep sense of love and loyalty to Heather, it's clear that the consequences of his impulsive decision will have far-reaching effects. Not only has he damaged his relationship with Sharon, but he may also have jeopardized his position as a trusted member of the Genoa City Police Department. As the investigation into Heather's disappearance continues to unfold, viewers can expect more shocking twists and turns. Will Paul's rogue behavior help uncover the truth, or will it only make things worse for everyone involved? One thing is for certain, the drama is far from over, and the coming days in Genoa City promise even more surprises, heartbreak, and intrigue. Stay tuned to The Young and the Restless for the latest developments in this explosive storyline. What do you think? Is Paul's quest for justice justifiable, or has he crossed a line that can never be undone?